Hello, it's Michelle Negri Photography. Well, folks, this is the end of the 28 Days in Bloom series. I don't know where 28 days went. I'm always amazed at how fast time flies. I have to say it's been a fun ride for me. What did you all think of it? As the project comes to an end, though, I do have some mixed feelings. First, I love taking macro photos of flowers. I've gotten some really cool shots. The photos that I've been selecting for this series, I wanted the flower to be front and center, the full flower, as much as possible. But I've got a ton of close-up, really detailed, ethereal kind of flower shots, and I'm excited to share those with you in the coming weeks. It was also fun to create texture overlays every day. I only started making overlays about a year ago, and at the end I now have 28 unique textures and a bunch of uses for them. I also made some custom Photoshop flower brushes, which is something I hadn't really done before, and I incorporated that into quite a few of the works in this series. And plus I got to learn a lot more about wildflowers and the weeds and all the little species that I take for granted when I walk out into the yard every day. I think the best part of the series for me was that I didn't have to travel very far to get these beautiful shots. I just grab my gear, my camera and tripod and walk out the door. So that was a lot of fun for me, and it made the project a lot more accessible and easier for me to do it. And macro photography has this really cool way of making the infinitesimal in our world seem enormous. It really broadened my world while going no further than the front yard. So yeah, those are all the good things. I will say, though, that there's a part of me that's relieved to be at the end of this series. Making a new piece every day while juggling multiple businesses and my ailing cat's health has taken a lot more than I anticipated. I added new elements to this series that I didn't have in the 365 project. And the 365 project was something I did a few years ago, editing the same photograph every day for a year, and that's where I was kind of pulling my experiences from. So I added a lot more elements to this series. However, the joy of sitting down every day to create another piece of work, I'm really grateful I got to do that. And that I was able to complete it on time. I'm going to say my big lesson takeaway from this 28 Days in Bloom series is to always have grace for yourself, especially when creating. You know, our preconceived notions of how things should be often get in the way of what could be. For me, it was the expectation of doing this thing every day around the same time every day. And frankly, some days that just wasn't feasible, because life is unpredictable no matter how organized and planned out we try to be. There was a lot more to each piece than the final creation, you know, making sure I had a nice supply of macro flower photos. If I saw something blooming like the hibiscus or the amaryllis, you know, I need to get out there with the camera because the blooms don't last that long necessarily. I had to find interesting photos to make the overlays with, then make the overlays, making each piece, posting each piece to social media, making the reels, the videos, writing the blogs, doing the videos. I failed to take all those steps into consideration when I started this series, and some days I really felt the pressure. Throughout the 28 days, there were a few times where I had to double up on the work, so I knew my schedule was just really booked the next day. So I would I would do 2 days in one day. Some days I wouldn't get to do it until the end of the day. But I think, this is just part of the process, the creative process, and setting challenges for yourself. And for me, the big win was not being a jerk to myself if I was behind schedule, whatever that meant. Every day I was able to post, and some days it was as late as 10, 11 p.m. But I did it, and I wasn't mean to myself, which can happen, for getting behind. So that was a nice lesson. And, when you're not being a jerk to yourself, it's a lot easier to show up. And it's more fun. So if you ever take on one of these multi-day creative projects, there's tons of them out there, I hope that you can bring a little grace and compassion for yourself as you go through the process. I really had enjoyed having the opportunity to bring this idea to life, celebrating spring, coming out of the depression of winter, and sharing all these creations with you. So I really want to just say thank you for following along, supporting my art. It just really means a lot. And one more thing before I go. I've been thinking about making a small softcover book of the series. So I'm thinking, paper size. This is slightly smaller than a sheet of paper. I did this as a prototype for my 365 project. But something softcover, lightweight, and that you can, look at the works on a larger scale instead of just on the phone or the computer screen. There's something about seeing the art printed in person that just is really nice. So if you're interested, if you think you would purchase a book of the series, I want to know. I especially want to know if you're, did you all like seeing the final creations along with the texture that was used to make that, and along with the macro photograph that was used to make that final creation? Or do you just want a book of the final works? I have a lot of ideas, and I am wanting your input to see what you want. So let me know in the comments if you're into a book, if that appeals to you. It won't be anything like my 365 project book. It's going to be, this big, no bigger, and it'll be in an affordable price range, but still nice. Something you can put on your coffee table and enjoy. So let me know in the comments. And if you had a favorite, I'm curious to hear. And I hope you really enjoyed going on this journey with me for the past 28 days. Thank you for following along. And if you want to support my art, consider buying some art in the flower shop. Mother's Day and graduation are here. Or you can just buy me a donated cup of coffee on my Ko-fi page, ko-fi.com/mnphoto. So for $3, you can help me contribute to my art. It helps me with the website, with, running the social media, all of those things. So thank you all. Leave your questions. Be happy to do a Q&A. And I look forward to sharing more art with you. Okay, bye.